I will withhold mine until after public comment. May we have the applicant presentation, please?
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. My name is Austin Lin, Development Manager for SummerHill Homes. I'm joined tonight by Steve Bull, Vice President of Development for the project, Kevin Ebrahimi, our Senior Vice President of Development, members of our design team, and our legal counsel, Margot Bradish from Cox Castle, who will say a few words after me. We're excited to bring a thoughtfully designed housing community to West Cupertino, which will create a rare opportunity for new housing for families within walking distance of Cupertino's award-winning schools. Before getting into the details, I'd like to sincerely thank city staff for their collaboration throughout this process, in particular, Emi Sugiyama, who has been exceptional to work with. We'd also like to thank Luke Conley from the Planning Department, Jennifer Chu from the Public Works Department, as well as Matthew McKenna and Kayla Flanagan from the Santa Clara County Fire Department. Next slide, please. We are proposing to build 51 townhomes, which is the minimum number of homes required for the site. The project consists exclusively of 4-bedroom townhome units to accommodate families with floor areas ranging from 1,700 to 2,300 square feet, and each home will have a 2-car garage. All the homes will be offered for sale, and the majority will be for market rate homes, with 10 homes designated as below market rate and sold through the city's affordable housing program. In addition, the project includes 2 private amenity spaces for the residents, featuring casual outdoor seating, as well as public art. As Emmy mentioned, the Linda Vista site is designated as a priority housing site in the city's housing element. Under current zoning, the project requires a density range of 20 to 35 units per acre, which equates to a unit count range of 51 to 87 units for the 2.5 acre site. While state density bonus law could allow for up to 100 units, we are intentionally proposing the minimum allowable density of 51 units. For a brief history at the inclusion of the site into the housing element, the draft housing element originally assigned a minimum density of 30 units per acre to the site. The property owners formally objected to the 30 units per acre designation and requested the minimum density for the site be reduced to 20 units per acre, which the City Council voted to approve on September 9, 2022. The property owner requested a lower minimum density to provide a choice for a better, well-thought-out integration of the proposed development with the existing neighborhood. Next slide, please. To maintain the walkability of the neighborhood, the homes along Linda Vista Drive all have front doors facing the street with the garages hidden behind the homes. Additionally, the homes have been oriented so that the primary windows for the living areas and bedrooms face toward either Linda Vista Drive or the golf course to minimize the privacy impact to the neighbors. Next slide, please. In addition to standard fire sprinklers and non-combustible roof tiles and siding, we have worked closely with the fire department to add enhanced wildfire resiliency measures into the project's design in compliance with applicable laws and in compliance with AB 130 very high fire hazard zone requirements. First, we are creating a defensible buffer by using non-combustible landscaping within the first 5 feet around every building. For the structures themselves, all units will have fire-rated eaves and ember-resistant vents and door openings. Additionally, the homes along the perimeter of the site will have added sprinklers within all covered porches and decks and increased fire-resistant ratings for the exterior walls. Next slide, please. We submitted an SB 330 preliminary application for the project in October of 2024, hosted 2 neighborhood meetings in November of 2024, one with the immediate fence line neighbors and another with the broader neighborhood and community, and submitted our formal application in December of 2024. After the application was deemed complete in March of 2025, we worked closely with city staff and the fire department through multiple rounds of detailed reviews of the plans and technical reports. During this process, we applied the new Assembly Bill 130 CEQA exemption to the project in September of 2025. This past month, we met again with the immediate fence line neighbors and hosted another large group community meeting with the neighborhood to provide an update regarding the project. Although we are complying with the city's general plan, zoning, and objective standards, we proactively engaged with the neighborhood. Based on this input, we increased the side setbacks from 6 feet to 10 feet along the northern and southern property line, added privacy-enhancing design measures of landscaping screening hedges along the northern and southern property lines, and opaque third-floor windows where appropriate. Next slide, please. The project will provide several important public benefits for the community. First, the project will provide 51 new homes, contributing to the city's RHNA obligations for the 6th housing cycle, and also gives families and aspiring first-time homebuyers a chance at homeownership in Cupertino. Second, the city designation of the project site as a priority housing site supports the city's goal of affirmably furthering fair housing. The project site is the only priority housing site within this area of the city. Third, we're proposing to designate 10 of the units as below market rate units. Finally, the project will contribute approximately $2 million in park fees, $569,000 in school fees, and a surplus of $48,000 annually to the city's general fund from estimated property tax, sales tax, and parcel transfer taxes as verified by the city's third-party consultant. Next slide, please. At this time, we would like to have Margot Bradish, our Land Use Counsel, say a few words.
Thank you, Austin. Good evening, Commissioners. We did submit a letter in advance, so I'll be brief tonight, but I did just want to present a quick framework for your consideration of the project this evening. First of all, I want to talk about timeline and then about substance. From a timing standpoint, both the Permit Streamlining Act and the Housing Accountability Act established 3 critical deadlines for your project consideration. The first was the completeness determination, which was issued by staff on March 19th, 2025. 30 days later is the determination of consistency comment deadline, which staff complied with, submitting comments on April 18th, 2025. And finally, and most importantly, is the deadline for the city to make a decision on the project, which in this case is 30 days after the completion of the AB 130 process, subject to a one-time extension, which was granted here, which brings the date to April 4th, as staff indicated, for the city to take action on the project, or it will be deemed approved by operation of law. In considering whether to approve the project, it's important to note that the Housing Accountability Act places strict limits on a city's ability to disapprove a housing project that complies with objective standards. In particular, a city can only do so if there's a preponderance of evidence, so that's more likely than not, that the project will have a specific adverse impact on health and safety, defined in the Housing Accountability Act to require a conflict with an objective written public health and safety standard. For this project, as noted in the staff report, the city does not have an objective health and safety standard related to evacuation routes, let alone any policy that the project is inconsistent with. In fact, as indicated in the staff report, the fire department confirmed that the project complies with the fire code requirements and the AB 130 requirements for the severity zone that the project is located in. As a result, as a matter of law, there is not a preponderance of evidence that the project would have a specific and adverse impact on health and safety as indicated in the Housing Accountability Act, and therefore there is not a reason consistent with the Housing Accountability Act for the city to disapprove the project. We encourage you to approve the project and provide much needed housing in your community. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Do we have any questions from the commission for the applicant? Commissioner Rao.
Yes, thank you to the applicant for your presentation. If you can talk a little bit about, you've probably done many projects out here. We've had a lot of feedback around concerns of fire. Have there been any episodes of fire around your development during or right after the development? Do you have any episodes involving fire at SummerHill Homes at the densities that we're looking at?
First, thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Kevin Abrahimi. I'm the Senior Vice President for SummerHill Homes. Steve Bull, he's also the Vice President for the company. So no, none of our projects that I'm aware of, I've been with the company approximately 18 years has had any fire issues. Primarily, new construction requires much more advanced products. We typically try to do stucco as much as possible and have closed eaves, roof tiles, material that considerably reduce chances of buildings catching on fire. And just to answer your question, no, we haven't had any fires.
And that is your experience in 18 years of development, as you have seen no episodes of fire involving SummerHill homes?
Certainly not. No, we haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of any of your peers that have, and again, this is not a binding question, but just anecdotally, are you aware of projects of this type running into fire situations commonly?
I'm not aware of townhome style product like this having fire issues, but I am aware of podium projects, and our sister company does podium projects. From time to time, there's more chances of podium projects catching on fire.
Have you had any projects in very high severity fire zones?
I believe, I'm not certain, but I believe our Moraga project has, I don't know if the designation was called high fire zone, but it was very similar to this, where we had to meet with the fire department and do all the mitigation measures.
And any episodes of insurance denials because of your project?
No. And we have met with insurance companies for this project, and obviously we have several different insurance companies that will insure the project.
Thank you. That's my questions.
Vice Chair, go ahead.
So I think I heard you say that you try to use stucco to reduce fire risk. Is that a true statement that you said?
Yeah, so stucco homes are much more resilient than wood siding homes for fire.
Okay, so this project is using stucco?
It's all stucco, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Linscott, go ahead.
Do you have any slides or presentations just to outline all of the fire resistance infrastructure changes you've made, like the roofing, the vents, the walls?
Yes, let's see if we can provide that. So what slide number is this, Austin? Let's see. 1, 2. I believe it's slide 4. It was one of the sheets that we went over, but we can walk.
Okay, yeah, if you could walk us through that, please.
And I'll just ask that video share my screen.
Yeah. Okay. And then we can add the stucco and the different things that are standard.
Sure. Again, Steve Bull, SummerHill Homes, Vice President of Development. So the upgrades we've made are the non-combustible landscape, extending a 5-foot perimeter around the homes, or what we call Zone 0. Also added fire sprinkler heads within all the exterior covered porches and decks within 30 feet of the property line. 1 hour fire-resistant ratings for the exterior wall elements and architectural projections surrounding within 30 feet of the property lines. Also the fire-rated eaves, ember-resistant vents, and door openings.
So these are prescribed elements that we had to incorporate into the project due to AB 130 and being in the, if I pronounce it correctly, WUHU. WUI, thank you, WUI. But in addition, for projects like this, we do all stucco, we do closed eaves, roof tiles, things that we know as builders are protective measures.
What kind of roof tiles?
Concrete roof tiles.
And they're fire retardant?
They are, they're rated for, I don't know.
Non-combustible.
Non-combustible. So that's what they're for.
So has anybody from the fire department reviewed these and offered any suggestions for, or did they say this looks good, or did they offer any suggestions for making it even more fire resistant?
So the complete plan set has been reviewed by the fire department. It was approved by the fire department. There were no additional suggestions from the fire department than what we have provided. Obviously, what you're seeing now is the finished product, so we went through several iterations, and the final iteration is this to be compliant.
Great. I have one more question, or I can wait if... Okay, so my next question is about the height difference between the adjacent single-family homes and this. Can you talk about that? Have you done anything to try and address that height difference and to address the privacy concerns of the residents?
Yes, of course. Steve, why don't you take this?
Well, sure. Yes, a couple things. We are at the eaves of our homes 30 feet. So what we've done is we've altered the roof or formed the roof to have hips or sort of a flat level area adjacent to the edge. And then it kind of slopes up over the course of 20 feet plus before it gets to that full height, just to minimize the height adjacent. Also, on those third floor windows, again, the homes primarily live to the front and back facing Linda Vista and also the golf course. But there are some secondary windows on the side, elevation facing neighbors. So what we've done on the third floor was we've sort of obscured those or frosted them over so it can't be seen out of. And then finally, we added a landscape hedge along the fence. It should grow up at maturity 10 to 12 feet high to help add a little bit more privacy.
Okay, so just to be clear, so you said, so it maxes out at 30 feet, you said?
Yeah, so the elevation of the home, the side yard, from the grade to the eave is 30 feet. And then a lot of times we wind up having a gable element for the roof, which adds height. But in these cases, we designed the homes to have hips, which means at 30 feet, they'll go up at an angle towards the center of the building. So at all times that you're looking at is the 30 feet, and then the roof line goes away from you. And I think Steve mentioned the other thing that we tried to do is there was a minimum of 6 foot setback, and we worked with staff to reduce the setback on Village Court and increase the setbacks from 6 to 10, and at some locations 11 foot. So those are the things that we worked on incorporating.
Great, and I think you mentioned something about privacy screening as well.
Yeah, so,
trees.
Yes, there. I don't know if they're called trees. There are shrubs that grow. We have several that we have suggested. Some grow between 10 to 12 to 15 feet, and we have some other suggestions that can go as high as 20 feet.
That would fit in that 10-foot setback.
Yes, but those are shrubs, not really. I wouldn't call them trees.
Okay, but so sorry, what was the highest height they could go?
They could go as high as 20 feet.
20 feet. Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to clarify, I did not see anywhere in the documents what class rating the fireproofing materials are. Are they Class A or Class B or just anything?
Yeah. Jennifer, do you have any?
Good evening, Commissioners. Jennifer Master with SDG Architects. Are you speaking of the roof specifically?
I was thinking about the roof, actually. I mean, if there are other materials that apply.
No,
then,
so
yes.
I think it's just the roof.
Okay.
I mean, when you say a class rating of,
okay.
It's usually the roof?
Yes. Roof.
I believe they're A. I can double check and confirm
thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
They're concrete roof tiles.
Correct. Clay concrete roof tiles that are non-combustible.
Okay, thank you, because that was not specified in the vesting tentative map, so thank you.
Can either staff or the applicant comment on, is this going to be following the 2025 building codes?
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this is going to be subject to the 2025 building code, and the 2025 building code has been upgraded to deal with the very high severity and high severity fire hazard zones and the upgraded.
That is correct. The building permits for this have not been filed yet, so they'll be subject to the current code.
And so can staff briefly touch on what sort of, again, very briefly touch on what sort of improvements come in because of those changes? Very briefly.
Not being the building official, I'm not going to venture out of my lane.
And I will let the applicant comment if they have been following the upgraded building codes.
Jennifer, would you be able to?
So we do have Director Fu at the back if you'd like to join.
So from an architecture standpoint, there's
No, just from a 2025 building code and fire safety.
Correct.
Any salient aspects.
So fire safety wise, all the requirements that we are meeting that we just went over again, we will meet those, and that's 2025 code based. As far as other updates in regards to fire safety, there really isn't. It's that one code section.
Is this maybe your first project with the 2025 building codes?
Our office has submitted other projects.
Okay.
I don't know if we've had one in a very high fire safety zone, though, but we're aware of all the measures that need to be taken.
Is this the first project with upgraded building codes that reflect the new fire severity guidelines from the state?
Probably so.
Okay.
But I'll just add, we've done a lot of projects in WUI areas within the Bay Area, not specifically for SummerHill, but for other developers. So we are aware of what needs to be done and detailed in the set to comply.
And I would say I have built in a high fire hazard zone and have complied with all of these measures.
So is it fair to say these new codes, given the state guidelines and what the city had to incorporate for fire severity considerations, the construction at this site is going to be of a significantly more fire-aware quality compared to your past projects? Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, absolutely. When you compare this to our Stevens Creek project that we had before the commission several months back, all of the things that we're talking about are additional things that are being incorporated.
Okay.
I guess if there's one thing to note too, the fire and building code compliance is really not optional. It's you have to comply with them. It doesn't have the flexibility, say, of planning regulations.
Okay, if we have any very quick questions, I'd like to take them, and then we can move to public comments.
I do have a few more.
But, it's 8:45, and I think the public has been waiting here for 2 hours, so I would like
we
to
can do
give them the
public
opportunity to speak. So anyone have quick questions?
I have a quick question
Yes.
for staff. Okay, in looking at the plans and looking at the International Fire Code, IFC Appendix D105, I noticed several areas where the plans don't comply. So how are they getting waivers to not comply with D105? I mean, the fire department can't just say, oh, don't bother. I mean, what is the procedure to get out of this?
So these plans were reviewed by our fire department, and we have a representative here who maybe can touch on specifics.
Yeah, that was not my question, but anyway, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Commissioner Schaaf, did you want the fire department to comment? Because we do have a representative here.
No, I'm asking the staff why they are allowed to not meet D105. I don't need the fire department to tell me what's in D105. It's perfectly clear.
I'm just indicating I don't know what that is, so I
Okay.
would need them to
Okay,
respond to
thank
that.
you anyway.
City Attorney, would it be acceptable to have public comment and then have the fire department answer questions?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move to public comment then.
Actually, I had one other.
Oh, I'm sorry.
One other
Commissioner
simple one
Okay.
while you're up here. So I did want to confirm, it is actually in the report, the appliances here are all electric in this.
That is
in this
correct. It's
building?
all electric.
There's no natural gas.
That is correct.
In this area. And I believe when we discussed this, you said you were also undergrounding the current.
That is correct. All the electric lines fronting the project is being undergrounded.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. City